Let's continue on with Messilat Yesharim, connecting to God. That's why I brought up the prophets. That's really, see, the whole problem is the more a person involves themselves in the pleasure of the world, the more they're disconnected from God. That's, the Talmud talks about this. It says a person usually, most people can't eat at two tables. They can't eat in Olam Hazeh and also Olam Haba. It's almost like a balance, that a person who's so focused on Olam Hazeh, usually his Olam Haba is not very well focused, and a person who's focusing on Olam Haba, his Olam Hazeh suffers. So it's much better for a person to restrict themselves from Olam Hazeh to focus on Olam Haba. Of course, he's not, like I said, he's not talking about Shabbat and Yom Tov when you have mitzvah to have pleasure, but Shabbat is one day. What about the other 6? And generally, human nature is if a person restricts themselves from the pleasure 6 days a week, they'll enjoy more on Shabbat than if they were having pleasure all week long. If a person is having caviar every single day for breakfast, then what's he going to have on Shabbat that's going to be special? If a person has lamb every single day, how is Shabbat special? And we see this also with Tarat HaMishpacha, the concept of what? That a man and a wife, they restrict themselves from having relations because the Torah says they can't be together with a nidah. So this, what happens is every 2 weeks they get to renew the marriage like when they first got married. They could be married for 20, 30 years and it's almost like it's the first time. You know, so this is the concept. This is what the Torah teaches. The Torah teaches that a person doesn't mean you do not enjoy from the world at all. The Ramchal is not talking about that. He's very much against that. And he's certainly against people who afflict themselves with all kinds of suffering. This is not what the Ramchal is talking about. He calls that false chassidut. He's going to mention that in a couple of chapters from now. That's false chassidut. What he's talking about is, you know, most of the days of the week, most of the days of the year are chol. They're not kodesh. When there's no mitzvah, when it's chol, a person should restrict themselves from the pleasures of the world. And therefore, when a person is Shabbat, he's going to be able to enjoy it. Then he has true oneg. Just like a person enjoys something, when they restrict themselves from it, and then they get it, it becomes more pleasurable than if they receive it. So like when you're a kid, you know that when you went to the toy store, you look forward to going to the toy store, right? 3-4 days before, and you're all excited. You went, you got the toy for a day or two, you were real excited, and then the toy goes in the bin, and then you need another one. This is the human nature. And this is what the Ramchal basically says. If a person thinks about it properly, then he should not have these issues and should be able to restrict themselves appropriately. Okay? Okay, Perek, he calls it Yudvav on the top over here. This is chapter number 16. Bebeur Midat HaTahora, which is the attribute of purity. Let's see what he talks about this. He's going to explain first what the purity is, and then he's going to say how to acquire it. Hatahora hi tikun halev ha'machshavot. Tahara is when a person purifies and perfects his heart and his thoughts. V'zeh halashon mitza'unuhu etzel David Shamar. And this is what we see amongst David HaMelech, what he says, Lev tahor bera'i li Elohim, what we say on the Birkat HaLevana. Lev tahor bera'i li Elohim v'ruach nachon hadesh b'kirbi. Which means, God, create inside me a pure heart. This is what a person should be looking for. Lev tahor. V'inyana, so what does this mean? Shelo yaniya ha'adam makom leyetze b'ma'asav. That a person should not leave any place in his actions for the yetzer hara to be able to get in. Ela shiyu kol masav al tzad ha'chokhmah ve'ayirah. All of his deeds, all of his actions should be with wisdom and with awe of God. V'lo al tzad hachet ve'ata'ava, not by way of sin and desire. V'zeh afilu b'ma'asim ha'gufaniyim ha've'achomriyim, and this is even, of course, regarding the things that are materialistic, that are body needs. She'afilu acharei hitnago b'prishut, even after a person goes and behaves in a way of prishut, dahainu shelo yikach min ha'olam ela hechrachi, that the prishut, which means he only takes from the world what he needs. He doesn't take from the world what he wants. He takes only from the world what he needs. He still has to purify his mind. Why? Because his mind still thinks, I want that Lexus, I want that Mercedes, I want that Bentley. So how does he has to help? He has to work on the mind so he's not thinking about that, which is very, very difficult. How does a person, the brain, the mind, he's always thinking. How does a person control his thoughts? So the key is, even in the small amounts that he does partake of the world, he should not be focusing on the pleasure and the desires at all. His kavanah should be only for the good, that comes out of the deed, which means, why am I eating right now this piece of fish? Because I want to have the strength to be able to learn. I want to have the strength to be able to go to work and earn a living for my family. I want to have the strength to be able to pray. Not because I'm going to enjoy the fish and it's going to be delicious. No, that he's doing it for what's the underlying reason that he's taking it, not for the pleasure, but for the need. And what it says about Rabbi Eliezer, this is talking about when he was having relations with his wife. That when he had relations with his wife, what do? He would uncover a tefach of 4 inches, and he would cover tefachayim, which means he was almost never uncovering, so that he was getting hana'ah from her, pleasure from her body. And it appeared as if he was forced, which means almost like Rabbi Eliezer was forced to have the relations that he really didn't want to, but it was almost like he was forced to do it. This is how, because again, the relations is something that is a very, very desirous thing, leads to all kinds of trouble. So therefore, a person has to govern himself properly there. Shelo haya neheneh klal, that he wouldn't get any pleasure at all. V'lo haya oseh ha'maaseh hahu ela mipnei ha'mitzvah ve'avodah. The only reason he did the mitzvah, only reason he did the action, the relations, is because of the mitzvah that he had, the mitzvah of the onah, or in the service of God, because he has a mitzvah from the Torah to give onah to his wife. And based on that, Amar Shlomo, this is what Shlomo Melech said, B'chol derachecha da'ehu. In all of your ways, what does da'ehu mean? What does it mean to know him? Which means whatever a person is doing, he should always be intimate with God. Even when he's involved with things that are pleasurable to the body, he should still be intimate with God, which means he's doing it for Hashem. And he will strengthen your paths. That's from Mishlei. But you have to know, just like a person has to have purity of thought regarding bodily deeds, bodily needs, because these things are very close to the Yetzer Hara, that they're removed from the Yetzer and do not belong to it. A person also has to have proper thoughts when he does the good deeds that are close to Hashem. That he has to be careful that the reason he's doing certain things is not for the wrong reasons, that he's doing it for the right reasons. And this is the concept of lo lishma. It's like a person who wakes up and goes to pray in the morning. Why does he do that? Because he doesn't want people to see that he's not praying. So therefore he goes to shul so people see that he's praying. It's better to do that than to stay home and not pray, or to stay home and pray. But he's not doing l'shem shamayim, which means not only is he saying a person has to have the appropriate da'eu b'chol drachei hadeu, which means Hashem has to be with him when he's doing things that are the bodily needs and pleasures, or even when he's doing things that are spiritual, he has to be doing it for the right reasons. Which is spoken about many times amongst the Chachamim, this concept of doing things l'shem shamayim. The ulam kvar nitba'aru divrei Chachamim zichron l'racha. It's already been explained. The words of our sages. Sheyesh minim shonim shel shelo lishma. There are different types of lo lishma. There's different types of doing things for the wrong reason. Hara mikulam. What's the worst from all of them? Hu she'enenu oved l'shem avodah klal, which means he's not really doing it because of the mitzvah, ela l'ramot b'nei adam, to fool people, Ularviachu kavod o mamon. He's doing to fool people, to become honored by them, or to receive mammon. Why is he giving a donation in the shul? He's giving a donation in the shul not because he cares about the shul, but because he wants people to see that he's got a lot of money, so they'll do business contracts with him all year long. So this is the reason why he gives big donations. So he's doing to feed his ga'ava, to show that he's the richest guy in the shul, so he gives the most money. He's not really doing it because he cares about the shul and cares about the mitzvah. He's doing it for his own kavod and his own ga'ava, or his ability to make more money. This is the worst type. Even though he's doing something that is a good deed, he's giving charity, but nevertheless he's doing it in a way that is improper. It's not lishma. V'zeu shamru bo, and this is what it says: Noach lo shenepecha shilyato al panav. For an individual like this, it's better that his placenta would be over his face, which is probably a nice way of saying placenta previa, which means, which is not a good thing, because placenta previa, often there's a lot of bleeding and the children usually don't make it, which means it's almost better that he would die in childbirth rather than doing mitzvot not l'shem shamayim in that level. The alava, because he's trying to trick people. It's not that he's doing it because he's tricking people into thinking that he's more than he really is. The alava mar navi, and this is what the prophet said: Vanehi katame kulanu uchbeged idim kol tzidkotenu. And we are all as one that is unclean, and all of our righteous acts as filthy rags, which means we're not behaving properly. Even when we're doing the right thing, we're not doing the right thing. We're doing it for the bad reasons. There's another type. So that was the worst one. What's another one that's not lishma, that's a little bit better than this one, but not so good anyway? Shuha avodah al manat lekabel pras. This is a person who's worshiping Hashem. Why? Because he wants to get a reward. Either a reward in this world or a reward in the next world. And this is what it says: Leolam ya'asok adam b'torah b'mitzvot v'afilu shelo lishma. The person should involve himself in things in the Torah, even if it's not lishma. Because not lishma, it's not talking about this. Lo lishma is not talking about the first case. The first case, that person better off dying in childbirth. When he's trying to trick people into thinking that he's more than he is, this person is better off dying in childbirth. But when it says over here, a person should do something not lishma, because mitoch shelo lishma ba lishma is only talking about an individual that's doing it for ulterior motives that are, meaning he wants to get a chelak olam haba, or maybe he wants to have more parnasah, so therefore he wants to, be close to God so he can get more business. This is not ideal, but it's not as bad as the first guy who's trying to trick people. Ach al kol panim mi shelo higia adayin mitoch shelo lishma ela lishma harei rachok hu mishlemuto. But if a person is doing even mitzvot, but he's not doing it l'shem shamayim, he's far from perfection. Which means a person can be doing mitzvot and still be significantly imperfect. Omnam ma shetzarich le'adam yoter iyun umlacha rabahu ta'arovet ha'isur. Where a person has to have a deeper examination and greater effort expended is when there's a commingling of forbidden motivations, which means it's not clear, which means he thinks he's doing it for the right reason, but there's an ulterior motive there that he's not realizing. Dahainu, shalif amim ha'adam holech ve'oseh mitzvah lishma mamash. Sometimes a person goes and does a mitzvah and he's doing it l'shem shamayim. Shekach gazar avinu shebashamayim. Because this is what God commanded me. Why am I doing this mitzvah? Because God commanded me. That's Hashem Shemayim. Omnam lo yechtam milishatef ima eze piniya acheret. But what happens? There's another motivation in his action as well, which means on the outside he's doing it l'shem shamayim. He's doing it because God commanded it. But there's a hidden motivation. Or he's doing something because he wants people to honor him. He wants people to to stand up for him if he's learning, or to do all kinds of things that he gets kavod. So like bribery, it's like shochad, it's like a bribery type of thing. And even if he doesn't have intent that they should give him praise, Bismoach libo ala shevach yarbel dadek yoter. Because inside him, he hasn't conquered his thoughts. His thoughts aren't pure. When they give him shevach, he gets benefit from that. And even though he's not doing it for that reason, The benefit is going to make it so he's more likely to do it for that reason in the future. So this is you see, these levels we're getting to now are very, very elevated. We did the beginning of the book. These are very, very difficult levels. A person requires a tremendous amount of work. That's why he says you have to have hitbodedut. Ke'en ma'aseh shel bitol shel Rabbi Chanina ben Trajon. Like he brings the example of the daughter of Rabbi Chanina ben Trajon. Sha'ita posa'at b'pisyot yafot. That she would take graceful strides when she was walking. וכיוון ששמעה שאומרים כמה נאות פסיעותיה של ריבה זו, and because she heard that people were saying, look how nice the way she's walking, how nice that is, miyad dikdeka yoter, immediately what did she do? She paid more attention to how she was walking. הרי התוספת הזה נולד מכוח השבח ששיבחו. So this additional thing ended up being that because of the praise that they gave her, she actually started doing it not l'shem shamayim. And unfortunately, a very bad thing happened to her. She got stuck in a situation of zonot. She was taken into captivity and she was forced into prostitution. And she had to be rescued, if I remember correctly. That's the daughter of Rabbi Chanina ben Trajon. And even though it's a small thing, I mean, you're doing it for the right reason. People are giving you the honor, and it has effect a little bit on the inside. It's small. But it takes away from the purity of his action. We see that when a person wants to bring olah, wants to bring a certain type of a burnt offering on the Mizbeach, a flour offering, he has to use solet. Solet is the best type of flour. Nikiyah has to be clean, and it has to be sifted. And it had sifted in a way through 13 different sieves, which means the level of sifting in order to bring this to the Mizbeach has to be to such an extent. This is how a person has to be sifting what their thoughts are and what benefits they're getting from the actions they're doing, even if they're actions that are good actions to do. Shekva tahar legamre mikol sig, that it's already clean of all impurity. Kach efshar la'alot al ratzon mizbecho ha'elyon liyot ma'avodat ha'el ha'shlema ve'amivcheret. Just like the solet cannot come onto the mizbeach of Hashem without this sifting process, the actions of a person have to be sifted, all the ulterior motives have to be sifted and removed away in order to acquire the trait of tahara. Ela hamuvchar b'sheba ma'asim hatahor mikol minei sig, which means his actions are at such a level that they're all done for pure motivation and there's no impurity whatsoever. Ve'eneni omer shema shehu zulat ze yeh nidche legamrei. He's not saying that it's rejected from Hashem. God forbid, if a person is doing good deeds, it's accepted by Hashem. Even if there's this little bit of ulterior motive in there, or not ulterior motive, but that he gets this benefit from people by honoring him. Because Hashem does not shortchange anybody the reward that they deserve for the deeds that they do. And Hashem gives the reward to the person based on their deeds. So even if he's doing good deeds, even if the person is giving tzedakah, he gets reward for that. He still gets the mitzvah that's tzedakah. Omnam al ha'avodah ha'temimah ani medaber. But he's not talking about the level of just a deed. He's talking about perfection. He's talking about if a person wants to perfect their deeds, then all this other stuff has to be removed. People who truly love God, these people who want to be perfecting themselves, like you discussed in the beginning of Derech Hashem, these people, they want shlemut, they want perfection. Well, it's not perfect if you've got an ulterior motivation and benefit from things that have nothing to do with the mitzvah. That basically the only reason he's doing the mitzvah is only for Hashem and not for any personal gain whatsoever. And not for any benefit. And this is part of the reason why it's so difficult when people Nowadays they take money for teaching Torah and things like that. It's if you think about what he's talking about here, how does a person separate themselves from that? It's hard enough when you're not taking money for teaching Torah, that people give all kinds of honor and kavod to a person, to not let it get to your head. Now you're taking money, so you have the honor of the kavod of the fact that you're teaching, and on top of that, a person's getting money. This is. Huh? I know.
But don't they tell you kenelecha chaver? Couldn't it be interpreted as
What kind of chaver? What kind of chaver? If you see a guy who's behaving like this is the person that you should be buying, which means you should do everything, you should spend as much money as you need to in order to connect yourself with a person like this, because a person like this will influence you in the right way. That's what says chaver. What is the word chaver? Someone who you're worthy to be mechaber, someone who you're worthy to be connected to because he's connected to Hashem. But not showing just a friend, he's talking about someone who's connected to God, like someone who's in these higher levels of Messilat Yesharim. You're right. How would they make a living? I don't know. It's a problem. Nowadays, it's a problem. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's, listen, if you look in the Talmud, most of the rabbis in the Talmud, they did not get money for teaching Torah at all. Nowadays, we're living in what's called a b'diavad society. That's why most people say that it's very hard to get. I mean, the levels we're talking about now, we're reading about them. You know what I mean? It's if we can get there, it's great. We'd be lucky if we can get to the first 2 or 3 levels and we're good to go. Then we're at tzaddik. To get to this level where the person is called a chassid, this is very, very difficult. And this is not even talking about the next 3 levels, which is kedusha, which is, I mean.
Has anyone ever been at this?
I can't imagine the Ramchal wasn't there.
Other than him.
You know why? How do you know he was there? Because
He wrote the book.
He wrote the book. He had to be there. So, I'm sure there are people, and these people are not going to be well known. You're not going to publicize the fact that they're there. But So your answer to your question is we're in a b'diavad society. But I'm just saying that maybe a person can somehow get money for what they do and be 100% l'shem shamayim. It's just hard for me to imagine how that's possible.
Are these what your Lamed Vavnikim would encompass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of my rabbis once told me that you see that a lot of times congregations give a hard time to their rabbi. Being a rabbi is not an easy job. Look at Moshe Rabbeinu. How much did he suffer? Right? Why? Why does God allow the sridim, the officers, his officers, who are the rabbis, to suffer when they're trying to do the right thing by a congregation? And he said to me like this: well, the problem is that when you're the rabbi of the congregation, people show you a lot of respect. Sometimes they show you disrespect also. But that what happens is that disrespect keeps you from going too high. Which means every now and then when the congregation is beating you back, oy vavoy lahem, because the atid latenet hadin, if a person is not treating the rabbi with respect, oy vavoy. But the bottom line is why does it happen to the rabbi? Because this way it keeps his ta'avot in check, which means he doesn't get to his head. He doesn't think he's such a big shot when the congregation doesn't treat him sometimes properly. That's what my rabbi explained to me, and he had a tough time a couple of times at different congregations that he was involved with. Okay. So he's talking about avodat tmima. We're talking about perfection. We're not talking about low level here. We're talking about very high level. So if a person wants the high level, he wants perfect avodah. These are the ingredients. Which means that the pure work, a person's avodat Hashem, should be striving to be pure. Not for any other reason. However, a person distances himself from this level. As much as he's not pure in his intentions, that's how his avodah is not shalem. Which means the only way a person can have perfect avodah is he has to have perfect thought regarding the avodah that he's doing. This is what David HaMelech said in Tehillim, Mi li b'shamayim v'imecha lo chafatzti ba'aretz. Who have I in heaven but you? And he also said, And having you, I need no one on earth. Which means that all a person needs is Hashem. And nothing else is needed. Ki be'emet ha'avodah ha'amitit tzricha liyot tzrufa harbe yoter min ha'zahav min ha'kesef. He says that when a person wants to buy gold, you buy gold that's pure. You don't want to buy 18 karat. You want to get 24 karat gold. Person buys silver. You want to make sure all the impurities are removed. Person buys a diamond. He wants to make sure it has the high grade diamond and color and clarity and all that kind of stuff without too many imperfections. He says even with the avodat Hashem, it's supposed to be more so. A person's supposed to try to make sure that his avodah is as pure as possible without any imperfections. Huma shene'emar ala Torah. This is what it says about the Torah. Imarot Hashem amarot tehorot kesef tzaruf ba'alil la'aret mezukak shivatayim. That basically what? The words of the Hashem are pure words, as purified silver, clear to the world, refined 7 times, which means the amount of refining that a person has to do regarding his Torah mitzvot has to be more than the amount of refining he would do to have pure gold and pure silver. Umishu oved Hashem be'emet, a person who truly worships Hashem in truth, lo yistapek bazeh b'muat. He will not be satisfied with impure actions. And he would not want to take any silver that has got any impurities mixed in. Which means that his worship, his deeds, his mitzvot, other things are mixed in, other motivations are mixed in. The zach, the clean and pure, that is appropriate, which is part of the mitzvah of Chanukah. The halakha is that they would be allowed to light the menorah with impure oil. If most of the Jewish people are tameim, or most of the kohanim are tameim, there's no issue with lighting the menorah with oil that is impure. Why did they specifically want to go get pure oil? And that's the miracle. The miracle was that they had the zechut to be able to do the menorah, the Chanukah, for 8 days with pure oil. They could have done it with impure oil, but why? That was the nest. The nest was that they were able to do it with pure oil until they got from the north to get new oil. So we see that there's an idea that a person should be doing these things with purity, and the Chanukah, of course, represents the Torah. A person's Torah should be pure. The az yikareh oseh mitzvah k'ma'amara, and this is when a person does it like this, he's doing the mitzvah like it is stated. Shalav amru zuchron l'bracha. This is what the rabbi said. Kol ha'oseh mitzvah k'ma'amara en mevasirin oto besorot ra'ot. A person who does mitzvot, as we see just now with these types of ways, he will not receive any evil tidings. He won't hear bad news. Always have good news. Also a rabbi said, Aseh dvarim l'shem po'alan v'daber bahem lishman. Do things for the sake of their maker, which of course is God, and speak of them for their own sake, which means don't do things for ulterior motives. Do them only for the Shem Shemayim. Behuma shebocharim otam shehem ovdei Hashem belev shalem. And this is what those who are serve God with a perfect heart choose to do. Ki mi shelo nitdabek imo yitbarach be'ahava amitit. Whoever does not join with Hashem with a true love, seruf avodah hazot tiyeh lo letorach u'masa gadol. Remove the purity of this type of work, which means purifying and removing all these ulterior motives, is going to be a tremendous amount of work, and he's not going to want to do it because he's not loving Hashem with a pure love. Ki yomar mi yuchal la'amod bazeh. Who? Because he's going to say, who can do this? Who can, like we just said before, v'anachnu bnei chomer yulidei isha. We're material, where we have a body, flesh and blood, born, we're mortal. No one can get to this type of level of purification like this. But the ones who truly love Hashem and they want to worship Him in the proper way, they are happy to be able to show their love of Hashem through the purification of their deeds. And to actually actualize this purification of their thoughts while they're doing these good deeds. This is what David HaMelech meant when he concluded, therefore your servant loves it. והנה באמת זהו המבחן שבו נבדלים עובדי השם עצמם במדרגותם. This criteria, he says here, this is how one distinguishes different Ohavei Hashem. Meaning, the Ohavei Hashem are distinguished by how they purify their thoughts regarding their actions that they do for Hashem that are good. Ki mi sheyodeh letaher libo yoter, whoever knows how to purify his heart more, hu hamitkarev yoter, he's closer to Hashem. Ve'ahuv yoter, and he's loved more, etzlo yitbarach, to Hashem. Hem hema harishonim asher ba'aretz hema. These are the ancients of the earth. These were the original, like we see about Avraham Avinu. It's called Avraham Ohavi, the one who he loved Hashem, or the one that Hashem loved him. Asher gavru v'nitzchuk badavar hazeh, that they were successful and they were able to overcome and they were able to purify their actions. Ha'avot, our forefathers, ush'ar haroim, the other shepherds like Moshe and Aaron and David HaMelech and Yosef, asher tiharu libam lefanav, that they purified their hearts before Hashem. Huma David mazhir el Shlomo beno. This is what David HaMelech warned his son Shlomo. Ki chol levavot doresh Hashem v'chol yetzer machshavot hu mevin. That God is looking to the hearts of a person. That's what it says, Rachamana liba ba'eh, like he says the next. V'chen amru zichron v'chal, like our rabbi said, Rachamana liba ba'eh. God is looking for a person's heart. He wants to make sure a person's actions are l'shem shamayim, and it's close to 100%, if not 100%, l'shem shamayim. Ki en dai la'adon baruch hu b'ma'asim levadam shiyu b'ma'aseh mitzvah. It's not enough for Hashem that a person does the mitzvot that he commands. Of course, the person is going to receive the reward for the actions that they do, even if they're not l'shem shamayim. But the closeness, that's the key. You're going to do the action, you're going to do the mitzvah, and you're going to get whatever schar is coming for the mitzvah, no question about it. But the ultimate schar of the mitzvah is the closeness to Hashem, and that closeness is directly proportional to the tahara of the lev the person has when he's doing the actions. That the essential is that the heart be pure. And this is how a person has true avodat Hashem. And so we see that the lev is really the king, is really the melech for all the other parts of the body. The nohegbam, and without the lev, everything dies. And if the lev is not bringing a person to proper worship, so what? He puts on tefillin with his arm. But if his lev is not there, if his heart is not there, then what's he really doing? Ki el asher yes shama ruach halev lalechet yelechu, which means the person, the key is the spirit of the heart go, the organs follow. This is how a person makes himself into a kadosh, and that's why he's going to talk about the next level. Once he finishes these three, is the next level is the kadosh, and this is when he's able to purify not just his thoughts, but his body becomes purified through his neshama to such a high level. Umikra katuv befirush, and there's a pasuk that specifically says, Tana b'ni libecha li. My son, give me your heart. Meaning Hashem is asking for a person's heart. He wants our lev to be there. He wants us to be focused. He wants us to be involved and to purify our deeds so that they are perfect with Hashem. Okay? Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen.